Writing constructors for subclasses. In this video, we will discuss how to initialize instance variables from a subclass constructor. Subclass and superclass. When class B extends class A, we say that class B is a subclass of A and that A is a superclass of B. For example, the iPhone, Android, and Motorola classes from the previous lesson are all subclasses of the smartphone class, and the smartphone class is a superclass of all three of those classes. Subclass constructors. Subclasses inherit variables and methods from the superclass, but they do not inherit constructors. Subclasses must define their own. Once defined, the subclass constructor will either implicitly or explicitly invoke the superclass constructor. The superclass constructor is invoked explicitly using the super keyword as illustrated in the following code. Here's the code for the smartphone constructor that was defined in the previous lesson. Suppose we tried using this exact same definition for the iPhone constructor. This code will not compile because the instance variables, brand, name, and year are private. Thus, any subclass of smartphone cannot access it directly. They can only be accessed indirectly, which is done by calling the superclass constructor, which we do using the super keyword. Right? To call the superclass constructor, we type the word super and then pass whatever values to it as parameters that we need to pass. In this case, brand, name, and year. When we do that, those values get sent to the superclass constructor. Then from there, those values get stored inside the instance variables. When a subclass constructor does not explicitly invoke the superclass constructor, then the superclass's default constructor, which is the constructor with no parameters, will be invoked implicitly. Regardless of whether the superclass's constructor is called implicitly or explicitly, the process of calling superclass constructors continues up the hierarchy until the top of the hierarchy gets reached.